Welcome back. I'm Tyler, you're watching Scarving Scarves, and welcome to the 66th installment of Last Week Lolita News. At the top of the segment, drop whatever the frack you were doing with your life because Angelic Pretty is dropping romantic perfume tonight at 9 p.m. Central. This is the first truly amazing print to be released by them in 2020. And I'm going to pretend that this abomination didn't fracking happen out of compensation, because if Angelic Pretty is willing to go back to making things that don't induce vomit, I am willing to overlook the stints where they forgot that they were making dresses for Cinderella, post-glass slipper, and not for the scullery maid stuck in a system of government where tax brackets rely solely on shoe size. Not that we have time to go into the absurdity of having any kind of monarchy in modern times, that's for another channel. Tune in next week when we discuss if the silver spoon is inserted before or after the royal conception. Pretty sure my brain just slipped a whole disc there, but you should know that this print comes in pink, lavender, and the best colorway available. It is normal waisted for AP, and the bow has little tassels on it to match the ones on the print, both of which I will be obsessed with up until Ice Cream Parlor releases and I destroy the entire power grid trying to get my hands on that peak 2010 inspired suite. Watch the gods of suffering dictate that it's high-waisted and the short reprieve was only a sadistic primer for what is to come, but hey, I haven't traumatized anyone in the last 10 seconds and I'm pretty sure my karma is squeaky clean if you ignore the past 2 decades. While we're on the subject of times gone by, Angelic Pretty USA's held an MTO for 2 popular 2015 prints, Dream Marine and Wrapping Heart. The second of which didn't offer the yellow colorway because God isn't prone to making the same mistake twice. Those who stand said yellow one are now furious, and they are welcome to continue being so, knowing in their souls that Angelic Pretty agrees with me. Mint Master Race now and forever. Congratulations to all who got their favorite prints new with tags, and you can expect Dream Marine to be delivered in December 2020, while Wrapping Heart will arrive September of the same year. Moving on to another sweet brand just to make the goth viewers suffer, BTSSB is dropping Kumya's Sweet Ice Cream for reservation from Friday, January 31st to February 3rd, Japan time. The print is hecking adorable, and I'm willing to forgive the fact that the bus looks like fucking Zoidberg because of the sheer volume of matching ice cream bear accessories they're releasing along with it. Where's my fracking kawaii plastic jewelry, AP? Baby is stealing the show over here, and all you can offer us is rusty cat and disappointing ribbon. The full spread of this release encompasses teeny tits, medium mammaries, skirt, head bow, socks, earrings, hairpin, necklace, bear creams, cute bags, and shoes ribbed for her pleasure. The normal-waisted JSK has fracking scallops, and my brand-based jealousy knows no bounds because here I am waiting for a single scrap of Milky Chan the Fawn in the year of our Lord 2020, and BTSSB has essentially blasted their mascot across a 1,000,000-mile radius with the force of a supersonic cannon. Is it too much to ask for a little more than 2 dress cuts and a head bow, or are my odds flatter than our chances of any of my demands being met? Seriously though, wishing those of you gunning for this release the exact amount of funding you need right as it comes out. May the frilly forces be with you. And turning towards another brand that likes to make 50 accessories for every print, Lady Sloth has updated the waiting masses on the drop date of their anticipated Tea Time at Grandma's series. Reservations should start at the end of February, go on for 3 weeks, and you can all collectively stop hearing about this when I decide I'm done torturing you with every painstaking detail of a print that takes my favorite things about conventions and lets me wear it everywhere I go. Don't pretend you like the panels better, that shit's free, and Zool knows you're saving your OTT for that flex at the $50 tee. I suppose I should also mention that AP Shinjuku had a limited MTO for Toy Fantasy, but I live in the States and it's not Whimsical Vanilla-chan and is therefore unimportant. Re-release my cat print now, AP, and transitioning into social news, Facebook group Ruffle Chat has managed to suggest the worst shoe type ever. I am of course referring to the post about wearing clown shoes with Lolita. Whoops, I meant Converse. But it's so easy to get those two confused. These were supposed to be wedding Converse. I presume to marry Ronald McDonald because that's the only explanation for strapping these no arch support having monstrosities to your feet and telling everyone around you that you've got your degree in balloon animals and the psychology of the squeaky nose. Honk if you think that clownery is best left to children's birthday parties and the ensuing therapy sessions afterwards. Press F if you have the self-respect not to dress like Bozo's prodigal daughter. The comment section was mercifully full of people with enough sense to know that Lolita fashion is not the time nor place for looking the fool. I am proud of this community as a whole, and the few holdouts determined to bring shame upon their houses were swiftly corrected with suggestions of shoes that wouldn't hurt their feet and reputation in one fell swoop. Obviously, people with foot or health problems are exempt to do what's comfortable, but believe me when I say that these insults to your arches are not the hill you want to die on. There are plenty of other fashions to look like you crawled out of a 2010 dumpster. Leave your emo kicks in the bin of your nativity. While we're on the subject, I'm not even going to touch this rubbish. This channel talks about stuff related to that particular dark underbelly of the internet enough to be sufficiently horrified. And I'm asking you to be at peace with the fact that I have indeed seen the kink coordinate and am traumatized by the shop links alone. That said, as that about wraps up the week, I am impressed that most of you behaved yourselves like decent human beings, and I have a bone to pick that I've been saving just for this. Welcome to Last Week Lolita News' next special segment. Angelic Pretty will never die, and those of you wishing for its downfall are welcome to keep doing so until pigs fly under their own power. Subsequently opened Porker Airlines, and economy class is just holding on to their curly tails as they careen towards the infernal mud pit otherwise known as LAX. It all started in Ruffle Chat as usual, and more specifically with this post. A post I will summarize because the OP doesn't deserve to suffer, and my bone to pick lies more with the comments full of bitter goth and classic Lolitas deeply rear-irritated that AP has and will reign supreme over their cross-dressing couch prince. Sorry not sorry. Now let's summarize what was said. The OP noted that some were concerned that AP's quality isn't what it was, that some of their recent prints weren't as popular, and asked if people thought that that meant that AP's reign as the most iconic Lolita brand was going to end. There was more after that, but my attention span begins and ends with Angelic Pretty, and we're going to answer OP's question here and now, as my favorite brand has been grievously insulted, and what's the point of this show if I don't take personal vendettas and blow it up to an episode-sized rant? So, as a thinly veiled excuse to calm the apprehension for the minute number of you who read that thread and actually wondered if AP was wobbling atop its pedestal, I present to you 3 points to the contrary. Point number 1. To address the anecdotal worries about AP's quality, if a few wonkily placed border laces is all it takes to put a brand down, then Triple M's reign of hot glued headdresses should have buried that brand long ago. What prints I've bought recently have arrived just fine, and I'm willing to bet that most quality complaints are couched in cotton supremacy because these people are living in 2010, they and their prints are fading into the sunset, everyone knows that misery loves company, and they're looking for bedfellows in their jewelry jealousy. Like that joke enough to use it twice, how's that for recycling, you environmentally conscious cotton humpers? Seriously though, AP's quality is fine. Get back to me when pieces of it are flying off, not unlike the nose of your supposed Lolita god. Moving on to point number 2, AP is more successful than ever. This can be evidenced by the fact that they just opened up another store in China. This is the same country where Lolitas caused a literal bloodbath by busting through a glass window to get inside. They just finished off 2019 with metaphorical bloodbaths over Be My Valentine, Fleur Cat, and Unbirthday, despite the middle child looking like the type of cats you'd seen drawn by someone on LSD. And they're making it rain popular MTOs on top of it all because this brand is raking in the money by the fistful, as evidenced by their making $1 million in January of 2018 alone, a trend that is likely to continue as they expand into China, a country which they are popular enough in to, again, cause literal bloodshed in search of limited edition releases. A moment of silence for all the completely civil releases of other brands. Call me when people are headed to the hospital over some innocent world. Which finally brings us to the third point in this test of patience, the near complete cult status of Angelic Pretty as a whole. I don't know of a single other brand that inspired terms like AP clones up to this point. Multiple commenters in the thread profess their undying loyalty to the brand even despite any issues with recent prints they may not have liked. And when it comes down to brass tacks, we all know that this stems near entirely from the fact that all the Japanese, indie, or Taobao brands in the world at their very best cannot match Angelic Pretty's position among OTT sweet Lolitas. And all this despite the brand continuing to release things more fitted to the pistachio cartel than living breathing humans with actual boobs to speak of. The itty bitty Tic Tac committee can whine all they want, but we both know you guys have the upper hand, AP's newly expanded sizes or no, so I swear you will live through a joke or two at this brand's expense. In reality, it would take a near decade of consistently terrible products to even begin to shake the overt obsession with this brand amongst the community, and even then you would have holdouts just banking on AP's magnificent return. This brand could run a damn cult and I would subscribe. This is no time to clutch your pearls. And the day that AP falls from its position as the foremost option for sweet Lolitas of taste is the day that Baby stops naming its prince after epic novels, Triple M swears off black and blue, and Innocent World stops cutting their JSKs for long-waisted noodle women, i.e. people like me. Cue the whining about how I don't wear classic once more, you will pry these sweets prints out of my cold dead hands. Because that's all the time we have for tonight. This has been Tyler, you've been watching Scarfing Scarves, and before you go to your Discords to discuss the myriad ways I've insulted your substyle, you should know that this show has been sponsored in part by BB&B. Their products are and remain the best sweets jewelry on on this side of the planet. You can find a link to their shop below. And to wrap things up with a big fracking bow, I'd like to thank my patrons for their spectacular ability to deal with whatever this show is supposed to be. I don't know how you endure, and should you like to join their number, you can head over to patreon.com/lastweeklolitanews to join a group of people who have decided to unleash a feral sweet Lolita on a news program and call it good. I don't recommend you do anything I say. Thanks again, guys, and I'll catch you next time.